Good morning. I'm back. Well, like I said, I was going to bring some news to the channel, and so I have done so. And I'm still in experimental phase with all this. So I will uh, be improving the news part of the show for those of you who are interested in more news articles and focusing on the drug addiction, the alcohol addiction, and how we can change our life and what we need to do to go about that. And AA. So God through AA has changed my life, and I don't know what it's going to take to change your life, but I just want you to know I support you in doing that. And I'm gonna post a link in the description box below with an email address that you can email me, or you can comment on this video, and I'll we can either reach out to each other and discuss some recovery and some methods of doing so, or you can just email me and we can Skype or Zoom and talk to one another face to face and go over it. Or I can interview you and you can tell me how drug addiction and alcoholism and God has changed your life. So let's check out some of this news. But don't forget to like and share. So here we are. Uh, this is a different view from of course, from my computer because I haven't figured out quite yet how to mix the two together. But these are some articles that I wanted to go over, and they're a little older, and I'll bring up some more when I have when I can spend just a little bit more time in the actual process of doing this. So it says nearly 21 million Americans ages 12 and older abuse problem in 2015. Like I said, we'll get the new articles. I'm sure it's just gotten worse. Among those with substance abuse disorder, 3 out of 4 had a substance abuse related problem. So of course, uh, you know, in this talking about here that Abuse Mental Health Services Administration said it at a news conference, and the main focus of this channel and a lot of other channels is just to inform people of the seriousness of this disease. It says marijuana remains the most commonly used drug in the modal service, and this is 15. So today, oh, it's getting worse. Uh, I cannot say that I have a problem with any drug that is prescribed by a doctor. If a doctor prescribes a drug in a addict alcoholic, because we're not like normal people, normal. So if a doctor prescribes you drugs or alcohol, then it's pretty much relapse not to use them. So whatever a doctor says, we're not doctors, and we do not need to act as such. So it says more reported use marijuana during 2015 than during the single year between 2002 and 13, according. But not notably, marijuana use didn't increase among adolescents. Rather, the overall increase was driven largely by more use of the drug among adults 26 and older. The next paragraph says among those reported using opioids in the past year, prescription drugs. Now, this is abusing prescription drugs. So I want to make that fine line clear that, as I said, if we are truly, the how of the program is honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So if we're honest to a doctor, then a doctor makes an honest prescription, and then we honestly take the prescription. So if you're doing things appropriately and you're applying the program to your life, then this is not a problem. This is only a solution to a problem. Mental disorder, stress, anxiety, backaches, pains, whatever it may be. We need to focus on what's truly wrong with us, which is always wanting to be out of the norm or high. Says in addition, nearly 300 people knowingly use the drug fentanyl. in the past year. And fentanyl, I know, has grown to an even larger statistic number than that. So it says prevention efforts are working. For example, although alcohol remains a problem among, okay, so I want to disclose my uh, my disease. My disease starts with alcohol and ends with alcohol. So I may start with alcohol, but I promote onto other things whenever my confidence grows. Because alcohol does that for me. It builds my confidence, it builds my self esteem, it makes me forget reality, and then I step into this world of the unknown. And once I start drinking, then obviously I start looking for other methods, and those other methods usually are drugs. So, and I'm an alcoholic, so that means I like every drug there is that can make you feel different and make you feel better. So, or make me forget who I was. And, these are just some going over some, different drugs, some different heroin use rises among white adults. And it's not about white, black, brown. It doesn't matter. Teen use of many drugs drops to record low. Woohoo! Yes, that's great. I mean, these are articles that can open up our eyes and make us understand that this drug problem is definitely a struggle. So I'm gonna go over a different one. Let's switch over here. Boom! Knock knock. When drug abuse becomes addiction, it says addiction is complex and individual disease. There are many factors that contribute. So it says genetics, family history of addiction. Second dot, environmental aspects, high levels of stress, exposure to trauma. For me, I started whenever I had major surgery on my stomach. They put mesh in my stomach, and when they did that, I had to start taking pain pills because trust me, it was a hard disease, and that walked me right into always telling myself that there was something wrong. There was a pain, and you know what? Actuality was there was pain for a while, but then there wasn't no more pain. Hold on, let me shut this. So I just started using that as an excuse to continue using. And I think that's a problem with a lot of alcoholic addicts is we just find the reasons to continue using. Presence of co-occurring disorders, substance abuse, mental health, services administration reports that about 1 million suffered from both a mental health disorder and an addiction simultaneously. So we not only have a stress problem, we have and it all boils down to this: life. Life is handing us problems. So what do we do with it? What you do with it is you slow down, you do the next right thing, moment to moment, and you change the world. We can change the world. It starts with one person at a time, and that's us. If we can change us, then we can start changing the lives of people affected by our drug addiction and those that we want to affect with our new recovery. So, type of drug abused. Some drugs are more addictive than others, of course. It says injecting, snorting, smoking drugs sends them directly into the bloodstream, can lead drug dependence and addiction more quickly than swallowing them. Woo! It doesn't matter how you do the drug. If you do the drug, you probably gonna come addicted to it. I mean, that's just my experience with it. It says so it says I had to give my wife a kiss. It's time to go to work. Hey, thank God I'm off today, so I get to go ahead and share a little time with you guys. It says mind-altering drugs interact, and this is the full paragraph. It says mind-altering drugs interact with naturally occurring chemicals in the brain that are used to send messages throughout the central nervous system, brain and body. Central nervous system depressant drugs such as opioids and whatever. Acts like a sedative in and or of itself, leaving individuals feeling relaxed and loose. I can apply these same articles to recovery because, now that I'm in recovery, guess what, man? I'm relaxed right now. I have 6 years clean, 7 years in the program. I had some head knocks and some bumps in the road, but I had some head knocks in the road. But now I'm loose. I feel free, right? I feel good in my own skin. I can wake up smiling every day. You know, that was just an excuse for me, or it makes me feel better. Well, you know what? Recovery, applying my life to God's will, that makes me feel great today. It says all of these drugs disrupt natural brain chemistry. Of course, most act on the brain's natural reward system and interfere with the normal production, transmission, reabsorption of dopamine. Okay, drug dependence can develop and a person can make. Okay, so once I alter, it's like steroids. Once I alter my chemicals in my body, I become dependent on them. When I become dependent on a drug, then I have to wake up and use that. That's called addiction. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm missing that drug, then of course I have to replace that drug. Today, I can take that and tell you that today I break that down today. Today I wake up and I gotta have God. I gotta have recovery. I gotta have spirituality. I'm thinking of new ways to get the message out there that this disease is killing. It says physical drug dependence is not the same thing as addiction. However, it is often one of the signs of addiction. So physical drug dependence is not the same as addiction. Okay? So, drug dependence means that I've already, let's use heroin as an instance. It's what we're talking about. If I become dependent on the drug to have normal body functions, to have normal life functions, that's what physical dependence is. It's not the same thing as addiction. I'm addicted to recovery today. I'm addicted to going to work. I'm addicted to, I can make things an addiction, or I can make them and let me see. I'm going to go ahead and read a definition to you guys. Let me find it real quick, and then we'll go on from there. So, yeah, I'm looking at my phone. I could do it on a computer, but like I said, I'm not the best yet. Addictions. Okay, it says the quality of state. This is for addictions. The quality or state of being addicted. Said need for and use of a habit-forming substance such as heroin, nicotine, alcohol, characterized by tolerance and well-defined symptoms. Withdrawal, all of that. Okay, now let me see if I can read the definition of dependence, because I like to back up what I say, and really I need to start posting links and stuff like that. And I know, said dependence, the quality or state of being, influenced or determined by a subject to another, one that is relied on. Drug addiction developed a dependence on pain pills. Okay, so dependence, addiction eventually becomes a dependence. I depend on that disease. I depend on that marijuana. I depend on whatever it is that I'm dependent on. My addiction to it becomes a dependence to it eventually. Says, so the American Society of Addiction Medicine defines addiction as a brain disease that is chronic and relapsing. It includes compulsive drug use and inability to abstain from doing so. A person battling addiction may make attempts to stop using drugs and be successful. Drug use will interfere with everyday life and family, school, and work obligations. Will likely and consistently attend to relationships, job status, home life, school grades can all suffer as a result things that were once important, like social activities, may not be a priority anymore. Why? Because I'm in the drug lifestyle now. It's all a lifestyle change, right? So once we change our lifestyle and we get out, because I'm not always just want to wake up and drink alcohol or do drugs. A lot of my addiction comes from the lifestyle. It is a lifestyle change. That's what this way of life is today. So let me do some scrolling here. It says someone battling drug addiction continues to use drugs in situations that are potentially dangerous. They will keep use of them despite knowing the drugs are causing negative physical, emotional behavior, and social issues. Repeated and regular drug abuse can lead to addiction. Yup, it can. So, sum it all up. These are things that we already know. Life is full of things that we already know, but we just choose not to, I choose not to apply them. I'm not going to talk for anybody else in the program or anybody else in this show, in this live stream. So, listen. Like I said before, the AA, God through AA has changed my life. That does not mean that AA will work for you. Hopefully, I took AA and I'm an alcoholic, so I like drugs and alcohol. So I took AA and I changed it into, every time that I read the book of Alcoholics Anonymous is the one that got me through the disease, got me through the step work, gave me my rebirth or my baptism into a newer life. And my new life is that one of God and spiritual seeking. And so every time that in this blue book, is I don't call it the big book. I'm just giving you the name of the book. I call the Bible the big book because that is my definite fallback guide. And so AA, every time that I read the word alcohol in Alcoholics Anonymous, I just fill in my drug of choice, my DOC. Whatever my DOC is, that's what I put on. That's what I put in my head. Where it says him, her. If I'm looking for solutions to this disease, I'm not looking for the fine line. I'm trying to make this stuff work for me. I'm trying to grab a hold of any kind of serenity, any kind of sanity that I can to continue the lifestyle that I want to live. This is the lifestyle that I want to live today. I want to be drug-free, alcohol-free. And if you want to be drug-free and alcohol-free, well, you can stay on this channel. We can learn together. We can pray, meditate. We can go over news articles, and we can discuss the drug abuse problem. This is definitely a problem in America and around the world. And that is what we are trying to do. We're trying to change the world one person at a time. So this is just an open letter that I found on the internet that's talking about some stuff, and not all of it's going to apply. And like I said, this is AA, and it doesn't, whatever your choice would be is what you need to use. As physicians and mental health providers, we routinely recognize alcoholic through screening measures, physical laboratory findings, social history, concerns raised by family, blah, 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 blah. It says there are over 2 million members of AA in over 65,000 groups in the U.S. and Canada. Activity exists in approximately 180 countries. Not only are AA meetings easy to locate in almost all areas, but the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. That's it. Okay, so in this instance, if I'm an alcoholic addict, then I say the only requirement, which is actually the tradition 3, is tradition 3 in the 12 traditions, and it's the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. In the first edition, and I'll back that up with some resources later, it actually says an honest desire to stop drinking. So, I can walk into a room or into a program of change all that I want, but if, a guy brought the three frogs on the lily pad thing to me the other day. He said, if 3 frogs on the lily pad and 2 of them decided to jump, how many frogs are left on the lily pad? It don't take no genius. There's still 3. They're still three because they only made decisions to jump. They didn't jump, right? And I like that analogy because we can make decisions all day long to go to meetings. We can make decisions all day long about doing the next right thing. But here's what it boils down to. Are you going to do it? AA allows alcoholics to share experience, strength, and hope with each other, which is what I do on this channel through God's help. God inspires me to share people's experience, strength, and hopes as well as mine so that we can change the world. We can change the world, and it starts with us, that is for sure. So that others may solve their common problem and help others to recovery from alcoholism. As a psychiatrist engaged in the diagnosis and treatment of patients with alcohol use disorders and past trustee of the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, I've seen the process of sustained recovery facilitated by AA happen literally thousands of times. I'm another example. I've been a drug addict ever since I can remember, 9 or 10 years old. I'm not no more. I'm in recovery. We can call it recovered. We can call it whatever you want to, whatever you can call, whatever makes it work for yourself. Call it what you need to. Let's call it what it is. It's called alcoholic addict in recovery or recovered, whatever you want to call it, man. It don't matter. Just stay clean. Don't use today. Don't drink today. That's it. Period. It says AA allows. Referring to patients, AA is simple. Basically, there we have it. You know, here it is. Drug addiction is killing the world. Alcoholism is killing the world. Yes. It's changing. It's creating more problems. It's creating more problems than solutions. We've got people out there stealing, robbing, selling themselves, taking from other people, hurting their families. Yeah, they're doing this today. Why? To feed a drug addiction or a problem that they have, a disorder that they have. I was a part of that problem before. I'm not a part of the problem anymore. I'm a part of the solution. And I want you to be a part of the solution as well. You know, let's be a part of the solution today. Let's change the world one day at a time. I want you guys to appreciate and like God for what he is, for what he does. Listen, like I said, if there's no God when you end your life, when you expire at the end, if there's no God left, when you get there, okay, what did you lose? What did you lose? Absolutely nothing. We lost absolutely nothing by believing in a higher power our whole entire lives. And if we are right, if our hope and our faith and our getting up every day, worshiping, praising, and giving spiritual guidance to other people, if we are right, wow. Woohoo! I'm going to a good place, having a good time, doing good things. It's a party. It's a party. Hey, my faith tells me there's a higher power, which I choose to call God. Your faith tells you whatever it is. Hopefully, God. Look, here's the spiritual progression of this program, the program, or spirituality. Period. Is that I just need to come in here and become willing to make a change. I need to become willing to understand that my life is not working the way it has, the way I've been living it. It hasn't worked, hasn't been working, and it's probably not gonna work. So when I realize that, then I start this new journey, this new life. And progressively, I get better. I don't get perfect, ever, but I get better. And my understanding and conceptions of God and spirituality, they all change and grow as well. And so eventually I get to the place of spirituality, neutrality, where you can say nothing to me. There's no drug habit.